When I first joined Life Church, I went to a student lunch and I was wearing a Superman belt buckle. I ended up saying hello to another guy who was wearing a Batman belt buckle, and we've been friends for the past 13 years. That guy is Jon Anelli. Jon, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I actually haven't worn that belt buckle in quite a while.
It's sad, isn't it?
I know.
We grew up somewhere along the line.
No, I wouldn't say that. Just I lost the belt that, that clips the belt buckles on. I have been to this church. You've calculated it 13 years, so I'm going to go with that. In that time, I have done a lot of stuff with the kids' work here. And I've got married, I've had a son. 13 years is actually quite a long time when you look back. Well, I mean, you and I have changed a lot in that time.
It is rather. I think, if anything, we've only got more handsome.
Yes.
So just quickly, tell me how you came to know Jesus.
So I grew up in a Christian household, but I went to their church, and as nice as everyone was, it was just church. And when I was a teenager, I discovered acting and drama groups, and there was a really good one on a Sunday afternoon, and I just kind of started going to that. And it was all day Sunday, and I started going to that and kind of stopped going to church, and the whole idea of church became very old-fashioned and boring. And then fast forward a few years, and I came to uni in Manchester, and I was invited by a friend who was a Christian to go along to an Alpha course, and I politely declined because I said to him, and I quote, "Christians are weird and they freak me out." But then he said something that has stayed with me forever. There's free curry. And it was those words that made me go on an Alpha course. God knows the way to my heart. And it was a really good place to ask these questions, and people were asking questions that I hadn't really thought about. And I started looking at it from the point of view, well, actually, if there is a God, then surely this is the most important decision I'm going to make. And I started going to church and found some Christians that weren't weird freaks, and met many more who were.
Thank you. So, how does your faith affect your job or your day-to-day life?
Sometimes my faith doesn't make as big a difference in my life as I would like it to. And I think as I've been a practicing Christian now for, maybe 14 years, you find at the beginning you're like, yeah, God, woo, yeah. I need to tell everyone, go spread the word. And then as you get older and you get more used to hearing the same things and reading the same parts of the Bible, you find it harder to find new things in there, and you take it for granted. I think that's the problem, is it's really easy to take your faith for granted, but I've had so many things over the last few months that you realise that God is in the little things, and if you know He's there, then you notice them. Like throughout the whole of this really difficult time, I've been on a big journey. Had a son through a pandemic, which I don't suggest to anyone, yourself included. I mean, I should have told you that a little while earlier. So I was really struggling with my identity a lot. I'm a wedding videographer in the day-to-day, and weddings have kind of gone out the window at the moment. And so, the government and everyone around you is telling you, retrain. And I've been looking at myself
as if people in the arts don't know how to retrain and hustle for work all the time.
Well, yeah. But then I've been looking like, well, what can I do? What am I good at? And then tried a few things and nothing happened, and just things weren't going well. And you attach a lot of your self-worth into what you do. And when you can't do what you do, even if you know it's something you do well, but there are things stopping you, you start to struggle. And I was beginning to struggle, but God kept pushing me and giving me things and going like, hey, you can do this, you can do that. But then a few things have happened, and I've started working kind of out of the blue. Started working with a church in Ormskirk, helping out with their kids' work, and started working a day a week for Life Church with their kids' work. So you might be seeing a little bit more of me on the live stream in the future.
So this now means that for the first time ever, we are co-workers.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
Virtual
think about
high five.
Yeah.
What film would you say speaks to you the most about faith that you think people wouldn't expect?
is Star Wars. I just like Star Wars as a different sort of retelling of the prodigal son, in terms of we have a man who turns away from all those that love him, and goes on a dark journey, and then comes through to be redeemed right at the end, and receives the full reward that he would have received had he stayed all along. You know,
He's the prodigal dad.
He is the prodigal dad, yes.
That's brilliant.
Anakin Skywalker is the prodigal dad.
I have never thought of that before. I'm stealing that idea. Jon, it has been so much fun to talk to you today. I've really appreciated it. Thank you very much.